Welcome in to Rover Sports, guys, and we are here today, and I am here to present you guys just a video and just to, share my thoughts on what was a really electric and pretty incredible playoff ride. So, without any further ado, and I just like wearing my headphones like this. I think the content hopefully will be better. And let's first start out by talking about the games in chronological order. I mean, the 49ers just dominant running the ball. The Vikings just couldn't stop the 49ers. The Vikings looked tired, and they just had no pop defensively. It's why George Edwards was fired today as their defensive coordinator. The Vikings have been a very overrated defense for quite some time now, ever since that Nick Foles game in 2017 before Pat Shurmur was hired by the Giants. The Vikings really haven't been the same unit, and they really haven't been all that talented. So then the Derrick Henry game that I pointed out, the Tennessee Titans go into that game and beat the Baltimore Ravens, and that was quite a performance by Derrick Henry. A really, really fun game by the by the Tennessee Titans. Let's start talking, though, about this Kansas City Chiefs game versus the Houston Texans. So the Texans get up 24-0. And I was actually at a driving range yesterday, and because it was like 60 degrees in Philadelphia, and I wasn't watching the game, and I was stunned to see the score 24-0. But I was a little worried about the Chiefs winning, but I wasn't panicked because Patrick Mahomes has the ability. He has the ability to come back so quickly, and the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs were up 28-24, the fact that they scored 28 points, I think, in the second quarter of that game, it just speaks volumes to it speaks volumes to Kansas City, and it really speaks volumes to how good and how talented Patrick Mahomes is, because Patrick Mahomes has the ability to. Patrick Mahomes is the scariest quarterback, and he has the ability to just score so quickly. And there's so many other quarterbacks that don't have that unique ability to score quickly. Kirk Cousins cannot do it. Jimmy Garoppolo would take time to do it. Just if you look down the list of even Russell Wilson too. What a feat that was. But we'll stay on Mahomes for a second. The ability to score quickly and to hit deep throws, and also Mahomes' scrambling ability, like him scrambling right down. And the Texans just lost complete contain. And it seemed like their defense had no chance of stopping the Chiefs' offense. And Romeo Crennel's defense this year has been absolutely laughed out of a lot of games. I mean, the Denver Broncos offense absolutely destroyed Houston's defense. In the first half, the Bills had a lot of success on Houston. And I just think that Houston's defense, I mean, that Ravens game, that the Ravens absolutely crushed the Houston Texans. So the Texans have an awful culture. They have guys that have big names, like Zach Cunningham's a big name out of Vanderbilt. Whitney Merciless is a name. J.J. Watt. They got, I think, Justin Reed from Stanford. They also have on that defensive secondary, I don't know if it's Barry Church or it's some safety. I think it's Gibson from the Jacksonville Jaguars on that unit as well. Lonnie Johnson out of Kentucky. So and also I think that they have Joseph still playing on that secondary. So the Texans just have a bunch of names, but those names now are getting old. J.J. Watt is not the same player. Whitney Merciless is older. They gave up Jadeveon Clowney, and Clowney would have been a nice weapon to have. And in the middle of that defense, just the linebacker play, and Travis Kelce was just dominant. But really, Mahomes is just such an improviser, and that throw that he tossed, kind of like a chest pass, Mahomes plays the game like he's playing basketball. And the way that Mahomes scrambles to the right, the way he can scramble to the left, he's really so difficult to guard. And you just feel that Mahomes is going to hit a 30-yard throw on any play. And then you had, I think, Damian Williams going down the left sideline. The Texans' defense and Romeo Crennel was just swimming the entire game. Romeo Crennel was just treading water and swimming upstream the whole game. And really, it goes to Bill O'Brien and just the dysfunction of the Houston Texans. The Texans this year got to play an Indianapolis Colts team that massively underrated the ability of Andrew Luck retiring and how big of a deal that would be for Jacoby Brissett in this offense. And the Colts also had T.Y. Hilton injured the entire year, so the Colts were not the same team. The Jaguars with Doug Marrone, with their ownership, is always a mess, and they should have fired Marrone. And the fact that they're bringing him back is an embarrassment. They had Tom Coughlin, and Coughlin wanted to instill a tough culture, but it also went against the guys that he was drafting. You know, he drafted Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey's very outspoken just against what Coughlin would have represented. He also had Leonard Fournette. I think Telvin Smith left that team, so the Jaguars were a mess. And then you look at the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans were undergoing a lot of changes. LaFleur left. Marcus Mariota could not hit a deep ball earlier in the season, and he really couldn't hit a deep ball at all. So that was such a crucial problem with Marcus Mariota, with this Tennessee Titans team in general. Give me 1 second here. I have no commercials, but I want to open up this door. It's pissing me off. So we're back at it, and I'm not going to redo this whole video. So, you look at the, you look here at, what the, you look at the Houston Texans and their journey to the playoffs, and the South is just not a good conference, and the Titans were down all year. So they were fortunate to get into the playoffs. The Bills outplayed them. The Bills had some really stupid mistakes, and Deshaun Watson is still really good, and the Bills had no killer instinct. And it's really sad that Dable and Josh Allen and Singletary couldn't convert more points, especially seeing how bad they were. And I just knew that Houston just didn't have the functionality to go into Kansas City and win. And up 24-0, you need to slow the game down, or you need to have defense. And Bill O'Brien is the reason he is a terrible coach is not because he's a poor game planner. His temperament, I think, is highly combustible. I believe that Bill O'Brien is really awful at discerning talent on defense, on using talent. I think Crennel is kind of older, and they need to change from Crennel and get a defensive coordinator that's multiple, a very talented defensive coordinator, and O'Brien will not take a step back and oversee the entire roster. Will Fuller is always injured every single game. They don't have a running game to speak of, and basically their contracts and all their trades, they gave away first rounders for Laramie Tunsil. They're paying Watt and all these guys tons of money, and all these guys are old and injured. So really, they wanted to rebuild with a great rookie quarterback on a tremendous rookie deal, and they are not going to be able to do that whatsoever. Hopkins is a sensational receiver, pound for pound, the best wide receiver in the game. Deshaun Watson is I think he is a top 5 quarterback. His scrambling ability, the ability of him to make big throws, the ability of him when a play breaks down to get out of the pocket, his composure. He is a guy that is very, very confident, but this defense has so many problems. Bill O'Brien, the ownership, It goes to, the fan support, still an expansion franchise, trying to break that mold. And that's the problem. When you look at the NFL, there's only several franchises that can win a championship. You have to be lockstep in every sort of way. But Mahomes, that throw going to his right was absolutely phenomenal. It was a sensational play. And Patrick Mahomes, his ability to throw the football, you just knew Kansas City, with how terrible Houston is, they can't salt away a lead. And Bill O'Brien, that was a poor punt play, but Bill O'Brien, his handling of the defense is just absurd. And the Texans were a dead man walking, and Mahomes is just absolutely scintillating. He's unbelievable. It feels like you're never out of a game. It feels like the Chiefs can drop 60 points. And this week, this Chiefs-Titans game, the Titans can limit the time Mahomes can be on the field because Derrick Henry, I think Kansas City has the 27th worst rushing defense in the league, which means that they're towards the bottom of the league. They give up nearly 5 yards a carry. So I really think that Derrick Henry, especially if Chris Jones of Mississippi State doesn't play, I think that the Titans can really salt away this game. They're going to play ball control. And also, if you take away Travis Kelce, and Tennessee's linebackers are very, very fast. You have Jeff Simmons in the middle, who's a defensive end. You have Simmons, and then you have, who's playing very well, is Jarrell Casey, who I believe had that unbelievable strip play. But then on the edge, you have Woodyard. I'll tell you, Rashaan Evans is playing brilliantly. And this Titans defense is fast. The safeties are in the right spot. Dean Pease and Vrabel are on fire. And Derrick Henry is just going to get the ball, and the Chiefs are not going to have that many possessions. So I really think this matchup favors Tennessee really nicely because, the Chiefs are better in passing situation when they can, rush with Frank Clark, and they can rush in the interior, and they can kind of pin their ears back and get after the passer. And then you have Honey Badger, Breland on the back end. But this game is going to come. I think Tennessee can honestly bring the physicality to Kansas City, and the game is going to be slowed down, so it is going to be a very close game. And I really think the Titans are going to win the football game because Derrick Henry is going to be the best player on the field. Even if they put 8 men in a box, you're not going to be able to stop them. Baltimore's defense is just as good as Kansas City's personnel-wise. Spagnuolo has done an incredible job. And then if the Chiefs get up in the game, Tennessee just has to be patient and just really limit the game. Like, even if Mahomes hits some big plays early, you have to weather the storm if you're the Tennessee Titans and not get into a situation where you abandon the running game. If the Chiefs do get up early, that's pretty much their only chance to win, because if Tennessee can just not turn the ball over, if they can consistently run the rock, and if they could set up third and manageable, they're going to have a great chance to win. And then you can maybe even play a little prevent defense, force Mahomes to check it down a lot, which is kind of what they were forcing Lamar Jackson to do. They were only rushing 3 guys. So you just have to stay very disciplined on Patrick Mahomes. And I really think that just because the Chiefs' offense is rolling so well, it doesn't mean that Mahomes can beat the Tennessee Titans. But Patrick Mahomes is the best quarter. I really think it's either Wilson or Mahomes, and Wilson is the clutchest quarterback in the NFL. Even when Wilson was down 21-3, I still knew Russ would have an opportunity at the end to win that game, and it would have been smart of people to put money on the money line at that time when they were trailing 21-3, because Russell Wilson, he will always get out of trouble. Russell Wilson is so fast, and he's also very hard to sack, and he'll always find a way. He knows where his checkdowns are at all times. He can throw on the run. He can scramble and get you 10 yards, and he'll kill you by 1,000 little paper clips, or by 1,000 paper cuts. Russell Wilson will be running the football, and Russell Wilson will get 10 yards, 15 yards, 5, 7. Mahomes has the ability to kill you in one shot. Mahomes is the best deep ball thrower, the most explosive offense with Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce, all those guys. But I'll tell you what, Russell Wilson absolutely can bring a team back in that game. And Seattle, I hated Pete Carroll's decision to punt on 4th and 11 because you basically then you lost control of the game at that point, because you want Russ 4th and 11. You should believe that Russ can go and make a big play on 4th down and keep the drive alive. But you punting the ball instilled belief that the Green Bay Packers can just go out there and can literally go and win a game in that capacity. You just gave up your opportunity to win and score a touchdown on that play. And that, to me, was absolutely an atrocious decision by Pete Carroll, because the worst thing that happens is the Packers have the ball at the 40-yard line if you don't convert 4th and 10. And the Packers then can either win the game with a couple first downs, or Mason Crosby can hit like a 45 to 50-yard kick, which isn't even a guarantee in frigid Lambeau. It's very, very hard to kick in Lambeau Field, especially in those conditions. But also, you punting to Green Bay, I mean, Aaron Rodgers needed 2 first downs, and with how bad the Seahawks secondary is, Aaron Rodgers, you got to give him some big-time credit. He played a very clean game. He made a brilliant throw to Davante Adams, a good throw to Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham had a sensational day, made a great over-the-shoulder catch on a huge 3rd down, I believe, earlier in the first half, or actually in the second half. And the Packers on 3rd down, lights out. LaFleur still played very aggressively. I said that LaFleur had to continue to play aggressive, that Davante Adams in and out route was a great play action call on 2nd down. LaFleur also on 2nd down, even though it was an incomplete pass, he still had Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball twice on that final series, even on 2nd down, ignoring clock and timeouts, which I really enjoyed. LaFleur played aggressive because Russell Wilson will always be there in the end, okay? Even if it's a 35-0, Russ will find a way where it's then 35-31 and he's driving to beat you, because Russell Wilson is one of the greatest competitors we've ever seen from a quarterback, going in the Lambeau Field and having pretty much no defense for the Seahawks the entire game. Russell Wilson needed to play a flawless second half of football. He needed to score on every single drive against a good Mike Pettin defense. And Russell Wilson, with Travis Homer, Marshawn Lynch, DK Metcalf, who's a rookie, Tyler Lockett, a very good slot receiver, Russell Wilson just made spectacular play after spectacular play. Him running the ball, it was a one-man show, and Russ is magic. And I don't think we've seen a quarterback as magical as Russell Wilson. And the more clutch, the more pressure the scenario, the better Russell Wilson is. He just operates. He can throw. And Russell Wilson is just unstoppable. And even though this roster around the Seahawks is horrible, even though Pete Carroll makes some questionable decisions, even though their defense with Ken Norton is trying to build a secondary and really replace a lot of talent that's been lost over the years, and Russ is making a boatload of money, the guy is absolutely worth it in terms of he is going to give you a chance to win. And maybe if Turner catches that ball, the Seahawks magically win. So if you're the 49ers, you should be licking your chops that you get to play Aaron Rodgers again, because this defensive line of Bosa, D Ford, Quan Alexander, Aaron Rodgers is 36 years old. He cannot run like Russell Wilson. You saw what happened when the Packers played San Fran the first time. Now, I mean, it would be quite impressive if the Niners beat them in the same facet again, but the point is that I see the 49ers winning this game quite easily, because they shut down Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers on the road. You just get to Aaron by pressuring him. Aaron's not mobile. He's going to be taking a lot of sacks. Defensively, I really think that that San Fran can run the ball on Green Bay, especially on the road where it's harder to generate energy. Green Bay has been susceptible to the run. It's why the Eagles and Jordan Howard was able to gain a ton of yards on Green Bay. Even Dalvin Cook has had success against the Packer defensive line. Jimmy Garoppolo played cleanly. He did make a bad mistake, and occasionally he could make a bad mistake. But Jimmy Garoppolo has the better team, and Jimmy Garoppolo is a damn good player. He's very good on third down, and he operates the offense really nicely. George Kittle is going to bust open some plays deep down the field, and I really do see the Niners. I think this is a very comfortable matchup, and Niners fans, if you had to play Russ again, it would be very, very, very tough to play Russell again, because even Aaron Rodgers had to be just peak Aaron Rodgers for him to even beat Russell Wilson. And the Seahawks are just, that first game, the Niners played a brilliant first half in week 17. They were up like 17-0, and Russell Wilson in the second half of that game too was just absolutely a miracle, man. And they were 1 yard away from pretty much winning Seattle. So the fact that the Niners get to dodge Russell Wilson, the fact that they get to dodge a Drew Brees Saints team, and you play an Aaron Rodgers, I just feel that Aaron Rodgers is going to get sacked a lot, and Aaron Rodgers playing in NFC Championship games after a really emotional week. Kyle Shanahan's already beaten Aaron Rodgers when it counts. He beat him in Atlanta in 2016, where Rodgers had a ton of trouble that day. And listen, I couldn't be more excited for the 49ers' opportunities to win. They're quietly the best team in the league. Their Vikings game was buried underneath headlines of the Titans, underneath headlines of the Houston Texans and the 24-0, 51-7 turnaround. And also, the late game was the Green Bay Packers, and now the Green Bay Packers, that was a good game, the Seattle-Green Bay game, but also Seattle, their team is it was a one-man show, Russell Wilson. And Wilson is just absolutely impeccably good, and that's the only reason that game was even remotely close. And LaFleur and Rodgers they did very well, and the Packers did well, but I think the 49ers are the best team left in the field. Now, Derrick Henry's the best player, the best weapon left in the field. So if it is going to be 49ers Titans or 49ers versus Kansas City, Mahomes or Derrick Henry, those are such two worthy opponents to go up against. Travis Kelce, Mahomes, that offense. Then it might be a shootout in Miami late. It might get kind of hairy late in Miami. Also, Derrick Henry, his ability to run the ball. I believe that it will be 49ers and it will be 49ers Titans. I'm actually going to take Tennessee because of their ability to run the ball. It's going to be cold in Arrowhead, and I actually think that first half the Chiefs are going to start slow and the Titans are going to have a good game plan against Mahomes, and they're going to slay another dragon, and it is going to be a magical time. And then they're going to go into the Super Bowl, and there I think that the 49ers could maybe pedal through in the second half against Henry. They might be able to then shut down Derrick a little bit. But Derrick Henry he might even just be able to win the Super Bowl championship. But Patrick Mahomes, 2-1 in the playoffs, such an exceptional quarterback. His improvisation skills are ridiculous. Even him from the pocket, he can make any throw. Effortless arm strength, such accuracy, but that flick to Kelce, he just has incredible awareness. His leadership skills of him pumping up the crowd, even down 24-0. The way that the Chiefs responded to adversity was so different than the way the Ravens responded. The body language, the Chiefs' togetherness, Spagnuolo, Andy Reid. I was just really just so happy for Kansas City in that spot. So. All right, guys, I have to record this video right now. A little recap of the day, and it couldn't have been a better day in the NFL, guys, yesterday. So Mahomes and Wilson in a league of their own. Mahomes, amazing. Kansas City, amazing. The throws, the scheme. Bieniemy, really impressive yesterday. I mean, if I was Houston, I'd look at a guy like a leader like Eric, and his play calling is really, really good. And he definitely should factor in to this Chiefs' brilliance is Eric Bieniemy and his style. So you got to give Bieniemy just so much credit, but also Mahomes, Andy Reid, kind of fighting the playoff demons early yesterday. Special teams a big factor on, and I'm not going to blame the loss entirely on Bill O'Brien. I think that Bill O'Brien, his team was just ill prepared to play yesterday, and they didn't have a great strategy going in. They barely survived Buffalo, and their team is just kind of just skates by and is never really a threat to win it all, even with a quarterback in Deshaun Watson that absolutely is capable of winning it all. But guys, I want to thank y'all for listening to the show. Appreciate y'all. And I'll also give some more video updates coming up really soon. So thank y'all.